Hey guys, Flabaliki here today and welcome back to Cities Skylines. I'm actually surprised that I've managed to get another episode of this out. I know that sounds weird because it's been a long time since the last one, as per usual, but I was actually really concerned that we weren't going to have any more because I've been having some weird issues in this city. So between parts, I wanted to add a bunch of residential because we seem to be having a lot of lack of workers across the entire city. And I wasn't sure if that was some combination of mods or something breaking. And it kind of seems like the city is getting to the point in the series where it's starting to break and starting to fall apart. Like we had that weird vehicle thing a little while ago that I fixed with a mod. And then now we've got this lack of workers everywhere that it seems to be okay and kind of balancing and hanging in there. But obviously, so the majority of this episode is actually time-lapse, just because I'm doing a lot of building, I'm adding a lot of stuff. I redo the airport, which I was talking about last time, because I wanted to make it look way better. And oh boy, I reckon the airport is like a million times better by the time this episode is done. You'll see. You'll see. You'll see. It's going to be great. So I'm just adding up a whole bunch of residential in this area near, the existing areas. We're adding a whole bunch around the city as well. There's a lot of it that I didn't record. This time-lapse itself is pretty much about 22 minutes. So if you do want to skip it, just, jump 22 minutes in the future and we'll do a quick overview of everything and we'll have a look. But I'm thinking that I think we're at a good ending point of this series of this city. We've just had that new DLC come out. It's got a lot of things that I would like to use that are kind of hard to implement in the existing city, just because it almost means you have to redo a lot of stuff. And I think we've done pretty well. We hit 100,000 population in this episode as well. And what year are we in now? 2107 is the year that this city is in. So, we're getting up there. But yeah, just doing a lot of residential, and then we'll move on to the airport in just a moment, and we do some of that. And I cut some of it out because there's a lot of there's a lot of road building stuff I have to do that just takes ages. I was trying to figure out some interchange stuff that took a while. And I think I've done some good changes between parts, and I've been building away. I've been building away, trying to improve things, make it a little bit better. But yeah, you can see in the background, even in this time lapse, just all the flashing icons of lack of workers. I don't know. I don't know if it's just this game or if it's just a combination of mods that I have. It always seems to get to the point where there's just so many available jobs in the city that they just don't ever have enough people move in. And then they always want more commercial before they want more residential. Dude, the city needs more people to function. It just doesn't have enough workers. Anyway, having said that, I think that's probably an issue of mods and Rico stuff that we put in that requires so many workers and all that kind of stuff. It's like a combination of things. And I finally got this tree brush, which I don't know, did I have this last part? I don't remember, but this tree brush, this mod is so much better than the other one, just having all the combination trees. Anyway, so I'm deleting pretty much all of that area, redoing all of this, and just fitting in the airport in a better spot. Because a lot of you guys are just saying we should probably just have the new airport runway parallel to the cargo one. So that's what I was doing. I was lining it up parallel. I mean, the other runway on this international hub airport sort of, goes in front of the other one anyway. But short of completely flattening the entire area and redoing everything, I thought this was a pretty good middle ground. This is me just rotating, seeing what, the options we have are and what the best way to do it was. And then I just cut it all out because it was taking forever. Oh yeah, and then there was no way that I could, for some reason I could not bulldoze this shipping line that I put in. So I had no way to move that. So I couldn't put the runway there because I think I had aligned it so the runways didn't overlap as much, but I had to do it slightly differently. Anyway, it did end up working where it is. I'm doing a lot of stuff right now. So I built all of this, and then the airport didn't seem to work, and I think it's because I used move it, and then later on when I was trying to add a subway line to it, it kept glitching out. So I actually had to demolish the airport again and rebuild it. It was a whole thing. It took a while. I'm kind of glad that it wasn't, live gameplay, us trying to do that and figure it out. And I was originally just going to do a roundabout here and just connect it all up. But I was it didn't really work because the road that I'm building right now is effectively the highway that connects to the rest of the city. And I didn't really want it having to interfere with the airport if it didn't need to. So I actually built it in a way, we basically build an interchange here so you can completely bypass the airport if you don't want to get involved in it all. But yeah, right now I'm still doing the roundabout until I realize that I definitely want to change that because it's just not going to work the way it is. But until then, I guess we're building a roundabout. And yeah, even that's like glitching out. I think this is where I'm like, okay, this is dumb. This is dumb. Yeah, and then you can see off to the right-hand side, we've already got a we've got an interchange there. And then this area, we're basically building up. So we're keeping the ferry stop down there. And then we're connecting it up. So this goes underneath the main highway road. I'm saying highway road. It's just like a, high density road up above, but we're using it as a highway. It goes below the main road and connects up to the airport here. Sort of runs along the front. I downloaded a bunch of parking garages, so it actually looks a little bit more, built up and like it makes sense. Like there's enough parking for everyone. And we're sort of just adjusting everything around it. And I was pretty excited about this. I think it was coming together really well. So we got this little roundabout down here, which is like our main connection. So we have this road to the airport joining there, and it joins down to the ferry stop. And then from here, it goes back up to the main road as well. I just thought I'd build all the roads first and then add in the roundabout because that seemed like a better way to do it. And then, yeah, that joins up to the main road there. And then that's just like a sort of giveaway section. And it all makes a lot more sense. And it's a lot neater. I actually do go back through and change part of it into a trolley bus network, which actually I kind of want to expand a little bit, which we might do in the live portion of this episode. I know a lot of this is going to be a time-lapse episode, which I think is good because we're getting a lot done. I finally downloaded the Touch This mod, which is the one that allows us to, edit the roads here of buildings. Because I know that I haven't downloaded it in the past because I used that crossing mod. Because if you add crossings to stuff, you can update the roads. The only problem with that, and I guess you guys would have seen it last episode, is we get all these tiny, tiny segments of roads, which I feel get glitchier than just a larger segment. So, that was the whole thing. So anyway, I downloaded that mod finally, so I could, change the roads of the airport a little bit better. And then I'm just sort of connecting all the lanes here and doing everything that we need to do. And it's all coming together. A lot of this actually changes because, like I said, I actually have to demolish the whole airport and do it again because I think I glitched something out because it wasn't working. So that happens at some point. I don't know when I do that. You might just see it change at some point in a cut. I don't know if we even see all the full airport footage. I'm also building a way for the road to it passes directly above and over the interchange there. So if you wanted to go straight to the parking lot, you could do that without having to go through the main airport front gates, because that was the only way you could do it, and that seemed kind of dumb. So I just added some alternate routes that you could go to get there, so you can sort of bypass stuff. And I think it makes sense. Like it obviously is never going to have huge high traffic like real life airports do, although I guess at this point in time they have the lowest amount of traffic ever, which is kind of sad. But anyway, there's never going to have that much traffic in City Skylines just because the game just doesn't work that way. But I was trying to build it in a way that it made sense and it would allow for good traffic flow and it all sort of work. And I was doing, so I wanted to do all the parking garages there, and then I wanted to do some large flat parking lots just for this area out the back. So, there's extra parking, extra long-term parking out the back, and then you have the parking garages closer to the terminal as well. So I'm just flattening out a bunch of this area and sort of getting it all to work. It was all a whole thing. I start out by using all these roads and placing them, and it just got way too complicated and it looked kind of dumb. So then I changed it, and like I said, we'll see the final product at the end of the time lapse, and we'll go through everything because I don't think I show absolutely everything here just because it was just getting. There was a lot. There was a lot of it happening, a lot of it changing. It was just taking a long time. So it was just bit by bit I was doing stuff. I also add a lot of residential and commercial zones around the city that I don't think I recorded either, just because we kept getting more demand. At the moment, you can see down the bottom, I paused the game. This whole time has been on 2107, so nothing's really changed. But later on, I'm sort of progressing the game a bit more just so we can hopefully try and balance all the job issues that we have everywhere. Because that was starting to become a legitimate issue. It was just, lack of workers, and I was getting a bit concerned about it. But I think finishing off this airport, finishing off a few more areas, for the residential and, all that. And I think we've kind of capped the city at a nice point. I think it's really, really good. I'm happy with where it is. I think we've kind of done what we can, because honestly, everything else that I would want to do in the city is just adding more of the same. It's just adding more residential and more commercial, just more zoning, and none of it really feels that new. So that's why I think it's a good point that we sort of wrap up the city and move into a new one. And the comments suggested, when we do move to a new one, do more campus stuff, because this was the campus DLC city, but we only ever really did one. We did the we did the trade school, was it, or the liberal arts college? I don't know, whichever one is in the first area we built. And I think that looks great. It looks really, really good. But we only ever did that one because we just never had enough students. Like you need a lot of students to even fill them out. So in the next city, we'll just do a different campus. Like we'll just do. I think we'll do the university because in the city before this one, we did. I think we did end up doing the trade school or the liberal. I don't know. We did one of them. We definitely built up one of them. I mean, it was very quickly though at the end of that series. Because that one was also kind of falling apart. So, so you know, it was all that in the industry city. That was fun, though. That was a good one. Yeah, so I guess we got to figure out what we're going to do for the next one. Like, what kind of map? So we've done, like, an archipelago one here. I think maybe more mountainous again. Because this one was a very flat map. But that was kind of the point, so we'd have a lot of water. We did a lot of ferry lines in this one, too, which I really, really liked. A lot of bridges. I think that was fun. I also do really like this area around the airport. Like, there's lots of trees and stuff out the front here, just because there's a lot of grassland. But I think it worked out really, really nicely. I was actually really happy with it. So all these little roads around here actually change a little bit when I have to rebuild the entire airport, which is a bit of a shame because it's been a while sort of setting them all up, and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be great, and then it didn't work, and it just wasn't. It was just broken. So that was, you know, just a little bit sad, but that's okay. Anyway, so that's sort of all coming together. This whole airport rebuild was a whole thing. Like, we did it last part. Like, we did it very quickly. And I think I even said in the last part, I was like, yeah, this place looks crap, so we'll redo it anyway. It's just a bit boring, you know, it just wasn't great. So I think this is way better. It makes way more sense now. It's like, you know, allows for way more traffic to flow through. And then this area just near the airport, I thought we would also build into, because you can see now the game has progressed. We're 2 years in the future. We're all on the up and up, but we've got huge residential demand and lots of commercial demand too. So I thought we'd build up the area near the airport. We'll do high density here because we have the whole like suburban area just across the river there. We've got lots of little houses. So I thought that over here, nearer the airport, near all this sort of industrial area, having more built up apartment blocks would make sense. And we were able to build a pedestrian bridge that goes directly to the other side so they can walk across very easily. It's all near the IKEA. And the closer we get to the airport, the lower density we're doing anyway. So we're doing high density the further, you know, when it gets a little bit further away from the runway. So obviously we don't get giant buildings, you know, blocking, you know, flight paths. Although having said that, the planes are pretty glitchy. And again, I don't know if that's to do with a bunch of mods that I have, but the way they land at the new airport is just ridiculous. And hopefully I'll be able to show you some of that so you understand. Because I was just like, oh, that's disappointing. And I don't know if it's a mod or what. I would hope so. I hope it's not actually just how it is. But yeah, we'll see it in a minute. Yeah, so this whole area is just high density residential for the most part, and then a few low density stuff. And then I do more commercial over this side near all the warehouses and everything. And we've got the metro line running through here, which I actually, as you can see, actually raised above the ground here because it was kind of glitching out. Like you guys mentioned, you caught it. If you look at the last part, when it goes underground and meets over the other side, it had a weird tunnel that I couldn't seem to fix it. No matter how many times I rebuilt the station and the tunnel, it just kept popping out. It was really, really annoying. So I ended up just doing an elevated station that sits above the train station, which we'll get a better look at again in the live gameplay after this time lapse, but that's what I ended up doing. So it sort of goes above ground. And then I added a subway stop at the IKEA as well. So they can catch the subway to the IKEA, which also services that new residential area. And back over this way, we're connecting up the logging area with a new bridge, which I actually end up banning, you know, trucks from using that bridge because this is all a residential area. So I didn't want all these heavy trucks driving through it. So I actually banned trucks off that bridge so they can't use it and come through this way. Yeah, this whole area is turning into more suburban, just houses and low density because it's not too loud and the logging industry doesn't pollute the ground, so it doesn't make anyone sick. So we're able to, you know, have them housed pretty close by and sort of fill in all this area without, you know, making people sick or it being too loud, which is good. So that's what we're doing. And then we got that big park down there as well, which apparently still has power issues, but whatever. And then, yeah, all this is filling in. I was kind of wanting to do more parks, like city parks or stuff like that. But I was like, we might as well just leave that for the next city we do. Build up more of those. Like we have a few parks around here that are quite nice. So this area is behind, this is near the cargo airport. So this is the industrial behind the cargo airport. Over here, we're going to add up some more commercial because there's a lot of commercial demand. So I figured we'd build up this with some commercial because it's obviously near the new housing district as well. And then I add in like a bus line to also service this area that links up directly to the metro stop from IKEA. and sort of, or it all links around that way. So it all sort of joins together and allows us to expand out this way quite nicely without overwhelming the residential areas with really loud commercial. They want a lot of it. They want a lot of commercial. So I'm like, okay, here you go. If that's what you want. And I'm just getting all the pipes in. Oh, I did add in a few of the new waste management stuff, because I think did we do a collection center? Oh, and I said I was going to replace the recycle center, so I actually replaced it with the new local area garbage collection. So the way it works now with the new thing in the Sunset Harbor DLC is there's like a local garbage collection which pollutes less and can sort of get closer to the city. And then from that collection, you need like the larger processing center somewhere further out. So they will like go to a house, collect it back to this like the local center. Then from the local center, they'll take it to the bigger place later on. Anyway, so I set that up as well in a few places. And then I also added the new water tower in, which is way better because it just processes way more water. Like, not processes, it produces way more water than all the water towers we're using. Because we're using all the tiny water towers everywhere. But now they have a bigger one, which is great. So we're going to end up using that a lot more. And then this area is just adding a new little road in so we can add some more commercial. More low density commercial here because obviously this is like right behind the runway of the airport. So we got to do, low density stuff. We don't want anything too tall. Just all smaller buildings there. And I think over this side we do another little residential housing area in this little section around the train line here. And I turned this into a little train bridge as well so that we could actually have a road going under it. Yeah, there's like a lot of this in this time lapse, just a lot of like sort of adjusting and expanding. And this roundabout, I was actually really happy with this area. So this is between the main city area and the airport, where it goes under the water and we have the roundabout. It's like kind of the highway roundabout that we have. And I decided, get this whole island here. Let's build it up. Let's get houses on here. Let's make it lively. We're doing high density on this little island too. Like people have really packed in here because it's in a prime location. It's really, really good. It's like close to everything. So we're adding that in. And you see, I actually added a bus lane road. So the bus is the main connection from this island to the rest of the city. I was like, we should probably add in a ferry stop as well, but I haven't done that yet. So maybe we'll do that in the episode as well. But yeah, I wanted to like build out this island. Like I said, I was building out a lot of little areas around the city that I felt would make sense to and would sort of, finish up what we'd started rather than just like leaving a lot of blank space that didn't really make sense. So like all around the airport here, I think it makes sense to sort of build up. So this is all nice high density and some high density commercial here as well. So it's like a whole little community you can live in. But we obviously have that really busy roundabout there already. Like that's already a highway that exists. So it's quite loud. So it's a busy place. And I don't think the traffic even gets that bad after all this, which I'm actually quite excited about. Now, this is another thing I was doing is extending the train line that I felt probably should be extended because it didn't really make any sense where it stopped. So this is over, I don't even know how to explain where this is. If you recognize it, I guess you recognize it. There we go. It was the second large island that we went to at the very beginning of the series that we haven't really done too much on. It's mostly low density. We have a passenger train line that goes there, but it doesn't go further north like we are now. And this is a cargo train that's running down here at the moment. And I wanted to build a new rail for the passenger train so it didn't get stuck on the cargo lines. So that's what this is. And it essentially like traces along the same route. So it goes all the way up here, it goes all the way around, and it eventually connects up to an existing passenger train line that just stops here. Which I don't know if you guys even recognize this. It's really, I don't know how to describe these areas. If you recognize it, you recognize it. But like I said, in a couple of minutes when we jump into the game, we'll have a quick tour and I'll give you an overview of everything I did. Because there's a lot more that I did that's not even in this time lapse. Like I did a lot of road works as well and built a new highway that we needed. There's a lot of little jobs that had to be done around the place to make sense. So that's what we're doing. All of this part anyway. So I actually had to do a tunnel here because I could have joined it to the existing rail, but like I said, I didn't want it to share the cargo line and there just wasn't any room to build this parallel to the existing rail. So I just had to, it just tunneled under a little bit there and then goes alongside the rest of it. And right here, I was planning on building up this whole area as well because it's so close to all this high density area of the city. It almost didn't make sense to not have this built up this whole area and have like houses and stuff here. So that's what I'm doing. I'm adding a train station in here, the passenger line. So we have a new stop that goes to this new suburb that we're going to be building up. And we have the highway running just next to the train lines there, which is also getting completely rebuilt because it didn't make sense. Because always we had this tiny, I guess, dual carriageway road. Not even dual, it's a single carriageway because there's one lane each way. This single lane road to feed this whole area of the city, and it didn't make any sense. It was just like that for the longest time. And you can see I've actually changed it already. There's a giant interchange I've built there. It looks like a big spaghetti junction, and that's because that's what it is. You can see part of it there, but like I said, we'll see all of it in a minute. So we now have a proper highway that feeds, that entire half of the city, because it was kind of ridiculous that we didn't. So I'm glad I got around to that. And then this whole area here, it's nice and hilly, but it's turning into a big residential area, a little bit more gridded, because we haven't really done too many grids lately. And I kind of wanted to do a semi sort of grid area in a high density zone, because I felt like if it's high density, it makes sense to be a bit more gridded. It's also very, very hilly through here, which I actually kind of liked because it meant that we could do a few bridges and stuff to get over, which I thought was quite cool. So we have all these little roads, and then we actually build a bridge that connects to the other side over the train line, which is kind of cool. Because over this side, we do all the residential. Over the other side of the train station, we do, the train line, we do all this high density commercial, which I thought was really cool. Anyway, we'll have a look in a minute. I know I've said that so many times, but once we get the time-lapse done, we can have a good look at everything. And right here is quite a busy little section, so I added a roundabout as well. Goes underneath the train lines there, and we get a little roundabout that goes over to the highway connection, and then we sort of get those grids in there. So like I said, that's a little gridded section there. All becomes nice high-density housing. I think it looks sick. It looks so good. I'm really, really happy with it. Because it's weird, like you can see right here, you can see on the left, we've got high-density housing. On the right, we've got all the suburbs. And then in the middle, there was like nothing there. So I was like, it just didn't make sense to have this blank. So I was like, we got to fill this in, especially because we got so much residential demand. You can see we're now over 100,000 citizens as well. So the city is growing, which is nice. For some reason, they still demand commercial, even though we don't have enough people to work everywhere. So that's kind of annoying. But anyway, we're getting on with it slowly but surely. I am hoping like the city at least ends in a happy place. It ends at a point where the city is happy and is functional. And hopefully we don't have too many places with lack of workers. But that's pretty much it for the time-lapse. There's a lot more that's been done in between parts as well that I'll show you right now when we jump into the game. All right, so here we are in the good old city. Down over here is the airport change, and you can see how much it has changed because we've got all this area down the front that's been done up. All of this area over here has been built up, and I think it just looks so much better now. I really like how like clean this is because it's all just grass, which makes sense because it has to be clear. We've also got this island built up like we were doing during that. And you can see, I just love how busy and alive everything looks now. Also, this looks like it's backing up a bit. We might need to give them multiple lanes instead of a bus lane because it seems like they're having trouble trying to all get onto the roundabout. Anyway, so this is, I guess we're here. So this is the new island. The only way that they can get to any of these buildings is actually through this connection, I think. I don't think I did any other connections. Yeah, so they have to use this one because there wasn't really any room to add another connection because we already have the other three. So anyway, you come through here. This is like the main road. There's a bunch of commercial on it. Little turnaround at the end. So the bus comes up, stops here, goes around and goes back out again. And then we have a road that sort of runs around the island. You go down and underneath here, underneath that main bridge. It sort of runs around the front. You got all these beautiful buildings along the water, which I actually think is really, really nice. I think it turned out so well. Like, I mean, I don't know how nice it would actually be living like right here with this main giant roundabout in the middle, but I think it looks pretty cool, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. We've got a little school down here as well, and a little playground, which I think is just perfect. Anyway, so if you go over here, run up over the bridge, we've got the little ferry underneath. Down over here, we actually have the trolley bus hub, or depot. And here's the trolley bus here. So this guy actually runs around our airport. It stops down at the ferry stop here and picks you up from the ferry, and it runs around the roundabout and drops you off right here in front of the airport terminal. So it stops there, and then it goes back around. It has one stop over here as well by the all the parking lots, so you can get off there. But yeah, if we have a look at the airport, the main road coming in, you come in this way, you can continue forward if you want, and that will take you straight to the airport. Or you can go left, and that will just bypass the airport and take you to the rest of the city. Likewise, coming this way, you actually have a couple options. You can go down here to the left, down the roundabout, and come that way. Or you can continue up, go ahead through the highway and come around this way. I think most people coming this way actually go down here, which is not really what I wanted them to do. The only purpose of this road was actually to get to the parking lots, but I guess it makes sense. And it actually kind of helps because it keeps them away from the sort of interchange that we have here. And likewise with the interchange, you can go straight over the top to the parking lot or turn right and bypass everything. And I think this turned out really, really well. And I just sort of zoned in some commercial around the airport, so we had some shops, because I really wanted more people to come here, because the airport's kind of glitchy. Oh, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. See, the planes, they land after this node, so they land on just this tiny little section. And it's really sad, because they sort of like weirdly turn in and then land here, which kind of sucks. I don't know if that's just the mod. But anyway, the airport does work, but for some reason it has a lot of planes always come in really close together. Either, yeah, like look at this. They come in way too close. They come in like in one hit. Again, I don't know if that's because of the size of my city. Yeah, see, this is how they land. It's really sad. Yeah, it's not great. I'm hoping that's because of mods. Otherwise, I don't know. I don't know. And they seem to take off here and go that way. Instead of like, what would probably make more sense would be to go down here and take off this way. Or to the end of this runway. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, it looks cool. The airport looks really cool and I'm happy with that. So that's good. So that runs through here. And then we have, if I guess I have to jump out of this mode, we look at the subway. That does run underneath here. So that goes underneath, and we added a new stop over here by IKEA. And we've got a few things going on here. So we have a few new bus lines that run. So this bus line, actually, let's go here. Have a look at all my buses, actually. Thankfully, did not name any of them. I say thankfully, it's a joke. Let's just turn on these two so we can see. If I close that, yeah, cool. So we've got this sort of lighter green line here that is essentially serving the purpose of connecting the new residential area through that subway stop and up to the commercial and industrial area over there. So it's actually a really busy line, especially the stop that's over here. A lot of people use this stop, and you can actually see there's quite a few people there, because that kind of services this area here too. Like the other bus lines, they drop off their passengers here. They actually transfer over to this one, and then from there they can get on this bus, it'll take them to the IKEA or to the subway. Or they can use the sub up there, which we'll have a look at. Let me jump out of this. So the subway stops there, it continues over, it comes out of the ground here, comes up and over, around all these buildings, and actually stops here, which is now above the train station. So the old train station is exactly where it was. I just tried to position it in a place that kind of looked like it visually made sense. If you look too closely though, you'll see the roof of the train station actually, sticks through here. But we're pretending that it doesn't, because I think it's kind of cool almost to have like this build on top. Now, I know it's not ideal. I did actually just want the original subway station that we had, but like I said, it kept glitching out with this river for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, so I had to do this. I couldn't do one of the other hubs because they were too big. We had this other rail here. It didn't work, so that was the solution that I had. That works, and I'm happy with it in the end. But yeah, moving on, we've got this new area behind as well. So this has actually turned into quite a busy highway road, not just for industrial anymore, but for everyone, which is quite cool. And that sort of runs around the back, all the way over here to the new commercial zone, which is mixed in with the old industrial as well. I've actually added all these bus lane roads in here. That's where the light green buses run. They run through here, come up, and they sort of just do a little loop around this section and come back around again. So that is all through there. That's where that goes. I actually added a train line that actually comes out the other side of this cargo airport as well. So it comes around this way and back around. Just because I thought, I guess why not? Because I might as well have two ways that they can go. So that goes there. Really happy with the airport. That's all good. I don't think anything else changed over that way. We did, like I said, do that little island. Then we built up all of this over here. You saw the time lapse. So this is just, essentially we had this. And then all of it. Well, actually, wait, did we do it? Yeah, all of this, I think. Or at least we did some of that maybe last time. Anyway, that's all built up over there. More out over this way. So this is where we this is where we were extending the train line. So the train originally just ended here. So if we zoom out, we can see like the center of the city, the train line sort of runs up here, stops there. I think it also stops there. Then it comes up and it stopped here and it just ended. So then I was like, we might as well extend it to come around. It stops here. This is a whole new development here as well. It stops there and then it actually comes here and stops at this station. Which is kind of, I guess it's kind of odd, but just with the way the train lines were set up, that's where I wanted to terminate it. We could have kept bringing it all the way down here, but what I did instead is have it stop here, and then they can transfer to this train line, and then they can take that one down into the center here if they want. And that actually works pretty well. So this train you saw just comes in here. It'll drop off passengers there. There'll probably be some getting on here as well. Yeah, there's a few people getting on. And then that will just go back to where it came from. And then the other train, eventually when it comes through, will pick up, people that want to continue on down into the city. Now, the other change that we made was recently, we changed it. We did this sort of interchange here. It went out here. And then at one point, it just turned into a regular road. So this is all changed into a new highway that runs through here, which you didn't see in the time lapse. It took me forever to do. This highway runs all the way through here. We've got a new interchange here, really quite big. I'll explain it a bit in a minute. But this highway now continues all the way down to the rest of the highway. Originally, it was just a little road that ran through this town, and this town had way too much traffic. So we've built essentially the bypass highway that joins up to the rest of the highway, and that works quite nicely. And then they have entrances and exits for this town here. And then this continues on to this interchange, which is it's actually like a 4-way interchange. It doesn't look like it. I know it looks like Spaghetti Junction. That's what it does look like. But it also looks better when you go from like a lower angle. But it is like a 3-way, so you can go, forward or you can go right. And then, all these directions go wherever they want. But then we also have an entrance and exit for this whole area. So if you're coming from this way, for example, you go this way and then you can exit there and you join out that way. If you're coming from this direction, there's actually an exit here that joins onto this road. And this is actually, this road here, it actually splits out into 2 one-way roads. So this is one road that splits left that way and the other way goes here. So they come out here and they actually enter the town by coming around and going through. And then this, these guys here can also exit into the town or turn left. Like there's a lot going on, but it all functions and it joins up to this town. We've got a little roundabout here. I say little, it looks kind of weird, but it works, trust me. Comes through into the town, and this is the area we just did in the time lapse. And this is like the little bridge that we built, which is actually really cool. I actually quite like it because we have this whole commercial area over here. And originally the only way to get to it was through this one little road and all these roundabouts, which was proven to be a problem because we had the whole highway here as well. So I didn't want everything there. But adding this road in allows them to go over the top and actually come down into this area here too. Or it also allowed us to extend over the other side here with more houses. And I did a little entrance and exit. So just from this side of the road, you can exit here and join this whole area, or you can enter going that way. And then down the end of this long little road here, there's actually an entrance and exit going the other direction. So we have a connection here, here, and down here for this area, which I think actually worked out really, really well. And then that's that sort of highway area there that connects through all that section. And I think that's kind of everything that I was working on. I mean, there's little bits here and there. Like down over here, like I said, I did change this into the little local area collection facility, the waste transfer facility. So they'll collect it there, and then they take it to the main hub, which I'm not really sure where I put that actually. I don't remember. Oh, I know. I put it out over here, I think. No, I didn't. I put one of the new water towers out over here. So that's the new water tower that came with Sunset Harbor that goes right there, which provides a lot more water for the city. The waste facility, I'm not sure where I put that. Let's see if we can find it. I think it might have been, is it this one? Because I think we got I think that's the recycling center that we had, the ultimate recycling plant. Then over here, we got the waste processing complex. So this is where they will take all the waste from all the local collections. They'll take it there, deliver it there. And that's how that works. And I think I've got a few more of those local collection centers elsewhere. I think there might be one over here somewhere. I don't remember what I did. Remember. But yeah, that's pretty good. I think that's kind of everything I did. Just lots of little things. And I think it does a lot to sort of bring what we already had closer together and make more sense, because we had a few blank spots that didn't really make sense. Especially like through here. I think that looks so much better now with this section in the middle, and then it goes down to this area. So all of this now is like sort of connected, and the little housing on that island as well. And I think it all around is looking really, really good. And I'm really happy with where, I mean, besides the game spawning a billion cargo ships, as you can see, and those kind of weird things that I can't really control, I think it's looking pretty good. This area is not really at fruition. But that's kind of, I like how this ended up, this new sort of port area over here as well. But I think that's pretty much it for this city. Like, I'm pretty happy with it. I'm happy to move on and build on a new map, and I hope you guys are too. We will do like a first-person tour of some of the transport lines if you guys are interested. Not in this part though, but in a separate video where we can tour the city, because there's a lot of transport lines in this city. specifically like train lines and tram lines. I mean, some of these train lines won't be very good because they go underground here, but we got a lot of the trams that we could ride on, and we've got, you know, all the ferries and stuff we could check out. We don't want to check out all of them because they'll be probably the same, but like the tram line would be way more interesting now because, especially this one, it has all of this stuff through it, which is really, really cool. So that could be something we could do. But yeah, I think other than that, I'm pretty happy with this city. I think that's it. I don't think there's really anything else I wanted to do. Was there anything I wanted to build right now? We got a lot of demand, but I think I'm going to leave it there. If you want to see more, let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you next time. And this is it for this save. Unless there's incredible demand for continuing this. But I think we're all kind of on the same page of wanting to do a new city. And probably not European theme again. We'll mix it up. And we'll figure out what kind of map we want to do as well. But I think this went pretty well overall. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. And have an awesome day.